So, hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728 and Matt Damon on Hot Ones. I know it's unusual for me to talk at length about one of these Hot Ones episodes, but I actually can agree with Matt Damon. I mean, everybody says it. It's fun to be on Hot Ones, but I actually enjoyed listening to the stories that he had. Of course, he had some fallout about having us told a joke to one of his daughters, and she giving him, I guess, a lengthy lecture or treatise, I think is the word that he used, about using the F for gay people word. Um, yeah, I when I saw it, I had the same opinion that Phil DeFranco did, which is, wow, that's horrible. But at least you've learned something. Um, I believe him when he said that he hasn't called anybody that. Um, and I'm sure it's pretty unexpected on his part that what to him was just a funny story would blow up in the way that it did. I can't say that I'm really 100% a Matt Damon fan because of something that he was talking about with respect to um, diversity behind the camera. He was like, yeah, it's good that it's in front of the camera. And somebody said, what about behind the camera? And what his response was not completely, it didn't make me exactly happy. Um, that said, I'm not going out of my way to avoid, Born Identities. I think I still want to see his Stillwater movie. Oh yeah, I think I did agree with him partially about, with respect to the Me Too movement and so on. I guess at one point he was saying that if anybody ever came after him, it was going to be scorched ground. I guess in terms of he was going to pull out all the stops and not lose his career and everything that he'd built because, of course, that rarely ever happens unless, you Harvey Weinstein or Weinstein or Bill Cosby somebody. That doesn't happen. You know, somebody was asking one of these YouTubers, how did this cancellation affect you financially? And she was like, I think it's Lindsay Ellis, something like that. Yeah. And she was like, well, it didn't, which is probably pretty likely. Sorry for going at length without talking directly about Matt Damon on Hot Ones, but yeah, I think that the guy on Some More News pretty much has it right when he says that a lot of people, it doesn't affect them financially at all. They're just making a big fuss for no good reason because they haven't really looked at it. They just think, oh, it's the end. So, but anyway. Um, yeah, I enjoyed listening to Matt Damon. Uh, he was definitely affected by the hot sauce as it went up, but you know what? I don't know. Is it that people are coming better prepared mentally or whatever? But I just saw Lord on Hot Ones, and she killed it. Like, killed it. She and Malcolm Gladwell, I suppose. She was talking just fine. She didn't seem to have any kind of issues speaking, and she was like describing the sauces and everything. So yeah. But some interesting stories that Matt Damon had. Um, he was, I guess, Sean had asked him about a Clint Eastwood movie that he was on, and he brought up the fact that Clint Eastwood only likes to do one take, and he'd done a take, and he wasn't sure because he was saying it was a South African accent, and I guess he was not in the habit of just having a director accept one take. So he asked Clint Eastwood, um, this is a movie Invictus, I believe it is, which maybe I should look at the plot of because I don't want to see an entire movie. Um, and he's like, "Hey, can we do another take?" And he says, imitating Clint Eastwood in that voice, "Why? Do you want to waste everybody's time?" At which point he says, "No, absolutely not. One take is good." I thought that was crazy. That was kind of funny because you hear stories about directors asking for so many different takes that you could recut the movie in so many different ways based on the different takes and versions of takes that were made. So to hear about an American director who is making a movie in the same way that many people in Bollywood make their movies, which is they don't have a budget, to have people on location for weeks or months at a time. So they just tape, 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 good, 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 and then they go edit this thing and make a movie. So to hear that an American director is like that was hilarious, especially one who is going to respond in such a uh, interesting and funny way. Um, One other thing that came up was that Matt Damon's wife is from Argentina, and I was like, "What? He's not married to just an American? Okay, wow, okay." And went looking for the story. So he was at a bar um, because they were filming. I can't remember which movie you said was saying. And what I like about it is that I guess his life with the lady is boring. So it just does not make the tabloids. He's just a guy, an actor with kids. Even his wife's ex-wife, ex-husband is like, and the father of Matt Damon's stepdaughter is like, no, they're fantastic. I love them. He's a great father. She's a great mother. And I was like, wow, oh, you really lucked out to have this guy vouch for you like this. And so there's a story, yeah, where he's at the bar. They were shooting on location. People started asking for autographs. His wife says it got aggressive, so he hid behind the bar, and she put him to work. Um, and apparently, he had had some training as a bartender for some movie. Um, and he made her a whole bunch of money that night in tips because I guess people were coming, buying drinks, and tipping Matt Damon, and she just gets to keep the money. Um, and then he invites her out, and then she's like, "No, I have a 4-year-old. I'm not going anywhere." And yeah, well, I guess he had been interested in her, and he was took the opportunity to hide behind the bar in order to talk to her, and da 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 da. It was interesting. Um, it was an interesting story. It kind of reminds me why I'm glad to be single, um, because you really do have to woo this other person who is has a lot of attention thrown at them, and you actually have to win them over. And I'm not into that. I don't want to do that because I don't like that. Oh, you really like me? And no, do we like each other? I know that probably sounds awful, but yeah, can we like each other? Can you like me as much? Yeah, I don't know. But me seeing as it's Matt Damon and he's getting more attention than many ordinary women, um, I guess it's a balance there that works. Anyway, um, he also mentioned this thing with DVDs because I guess this would be based on a lot of things that Sean would see that uh, the particular guest would have brought up in their public life. And one of the things I guess that someone had asked or Sean had seen was that people have complained that they don't make movies for uh, for the average person to see anymore. And Matt was saying that he'd spoken to an executive, and the executive was saying that in the past, well, not necessarily saying, but had revealed that in the past, DVDs was like opening the movie again, and there would be that second wave of income, whereas that's gone. And DVDs were very short-lived. I don't know how that became a thing or a reason to do X or Y or Z. Uh, DVDs were not around for like, as far as I know, 20, 30, 40 years. But people got so attached to DVD revenue. It's kind of crazy to me. But anyway, so you make your film, then you advertise, you put in as much as you spent on the film, um, promoting the film. I don't know why that has to be the case. That seems kind of ridiculous to me. So you make $100 million film, you're going to spend $100 million to promote it. Why? Why? What about $25 million? Then there's Matt apparently was told by the executive that you have to share all of your profits with the people who distribute and show the movies. Maybe the distributors, but not the movie theaters. I think it's for the first 2 weeks, which is where the lion's share of the money comes in. The theaters, I don't think they get any money from showing it in the first 2 weeks. Then I think after the first uh, after the first 2 weeks, then it's maybe they get 80% of the money, and then a month later, maybe they get 50%. So that whole thing where you have to give 50% of your money, maybe you didn't hear it right. Maybe it goes to the distributors, but it's not going to the theaters. They are not getting the most amount of money, or even a similar amount when the movie initially comes out. That's not it. I mean, if you look at something like Titanic that just ran and ran and ran and ran forever, then okay, yeah, theaters are getting a lot of money. But just your average movie that is in the theater for what, 6 weeks or something, most of that money is not going to the theater. Um, then I guess for the last one, Matt Damon was talking about someone a producer, somebody like that, who's always complaining that he never got the authentic spices at one of these, I think it was maybe an Indian restaurant or a caterer or whoever. So he entreaties the guy, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that word correctly, that hey, give me the stuff, the best stuff that you have, and I promise I'm not going to come back and complain. And he does that. They give him the hottest stuff that they have. The guy takes a bite because that sounds best in a story. He takes a bite of the food and then proceeds to projectile vomit all over the place in his trailer, um, which is funny, of course. Uh, but I don't know why you would projectile vomit from hot food. That I don't know. That's a different thing. It sounds like you had food poisoning from the night before and this thing triggered your vomiting or something. But of course that's not as funny a story as projectile vomiting. But yeah, it was, and Matt Damon, he ate that stuff. He ate that stuff. He didn't have to get up and scream. He he is not shaming his movie action star um, aura at all. Did a great job. Not as good as Lord and Malcolm Gladwell, but compared to a lot of other people, fantastic. Which is, I'm just wondering how all of these people are doing so well. Anyway, thanks for listening. Have a good one. Peace.